I'm going to update you guys, though. Don't worry, we're like the red zone here, baby. We keep the action and updates coming in live, and I'll let you know if FNI ends up closing it out or if La Familia makes that comeback. Trust me, you'll know. Fair enough, but
that is so unfortunate.
That is, I think, the first time we've seen that on Emergence days.
Beersley wins the 1v1 against Solars, and the lasers hit him with an uppercut. Again, very unfortunate situation. That would actually had that kill kind of gone the way he wanted, that would have put them at a 5 versus 3. Luckily, his teammates continue to slay out. Now we find themselves with a 5 versus 1. A couple players will be off spawn for UYU, but Estral are on all 3 hills. Summons needs to make his way over to B. His teammates need to make their way over to C. Looks like someone did get the touch they needed. Estral Esports on this second wave of spawns did a pretty good job, but they were not able to secure that home hill. And now here comes UYU. Good for a counter cap.
Yeah, good wins on their own home hill. There was 2 players. It was a 2v2, and Mental as well as his other teammate was able to hold their own and continue that fight forward. And now Estral coming off of spawn. They've got to quickly get over to Bravo, especially for this corner fight. You're going to see Explosives and the entire crew of UYU pushing in. Explosives will back up, try to get this cap on B. I think he's going to have company relatively soon. Yeah, there he goes with the Lancer Fire coming through. But he successfully got the break, and it looks like he's successfully going to be able to get this capture. But he does get dropped right after that as Estral makes a good recovery. Ryan, Estral, they're slaying out tonight from training grounds to here. Only first round, mind you, but they're going toe-to-toe in overall eliminations for UYU.
Yeah, definitely off to a good start, and Adverse going to get that kill on the Solars, and you see Fiercely just trying his best to keep Summons off of the B hill and successfully does so. So now, let's take a look at the right side of the screen, Taylor. You're going to see Explosive choosing not to spawn back in. Which he might actually, he's very quickly changed that decision because Mental and Praised very quickly getting in the kill feed, very quickly putting the numbers right back at bay. So now Estral has this 2-cap, 3v3 on the map right now, make it a 4v3 with a player off spawn, and here comes UYU. They're getting aggressive, they're moving forward. An opportunity now to potentially finish this round over on the Estral Esports home hill. We're going to see how the Swarm team can defend it. These are those scary moments when it comes to this UYU team, Taylor. When you give them one objective, when you give them one fight, they always somehow just manage to come out on top. Of course, the COG team does win with that 1 hill. That's all they need to hold. But like I said, nothing scarier than when you have 1 hill to hold, you have Explosive in the gang flying right there for it.
No, that would have been a huge kill for Cardia if he was able to solidify that. There's still time for UYU to swarm on this A hill, and I think they're going to be able to do it. 245 is 246, now 247. Will the break come through? And it does it, 248. And UYU pull the old optic comeback, if you will, and they take it just in the nick of time.
That's what we call the good old optic round, ladies and gentlemen. When you have that 1 hill to hold, and you have all the resources in the world, and they have to push that 1 hill, get that 1 break, no better team than this UYU squad to make the impossible happen. The Estral Esports put themselves in a very good position to close that round out, but Explosive and the gang able to finish it out as they always seem to do in those situations. Explosive, by the way, 10 eliminations.
That's fantastic.
In that first round alone.
10 eliminations, and not to mention, too, Mental at 7 himself, leading the pack just behind that of Explosive, but he only has 1 death. So he was absolutely slaying out. For every 6 kills he got, he only died once. And, man, that's some impressive stuff to say the least. And you know, you got to be, have that short-term memory. Estral, you got to let that go, man, because that's a tough loss to say the least. And you know what? It breaks my heart because if Cardia would have won that fight up top, that break never would have happened.
Yeah, like I said, it's a game of inches sometimes, game of kills. Obviously on those long spawn rounds especially, every single death matters so much. And on this second initial, we're going to see a bit of a stalemate. Both teams deciding where to make their push, and you're going to see Mental and Praised over on this right side. Getting that utility out and starting to make that push. Praise going to take initiative and hop right into that B hill. So the early advantage will favor UYU. And as the fights finally start to develop, he gets to come right on the flank. He perfectly set up for that kill. And this is where he's at his best. When he's able to space the map out, when he's able to kind of rover around, hit some shots. That's where he finds himself at his most effective. Great job by Praise, giving his team that early advantage.
Summons backing up. Praise to soften up the competition, but it's not going to be enough. Summons will, in fact, drop to Adverse. So we're going to see a lot of blue on the map. They're swarming now over towards Bravo, and that's Estral, right? Starting to retake control. And once the lasers clear, will Fiercely make the move on Solars. Well, Solars was trying to get Froggy and Leap, but he just holds off just a little bit. Fiercely will go ahead and back off. This is a bold push. And, honestly, I don't think he even needs to push at this point. Solars needs to come to him, right? There's no risk at all for just kind of holding back. Meanwhile, though, Estral continues to try and push forward over towards A. They're getting close, and if a couple UYU members do drop, we could see them go for that overextension, but you do see it, right? A couple UYU members starting to get a couple of kills. Estral answering back. The scoreline, though, Ryan, still so close.
Yeah, Estral with just a very, very small lead, and that lead's going to very quickly be erased as Explosive gets right into B, gets the break, and manages to get out alive. So good job by him, continuing to just stay at almost 99%. Managing to keep himself alive and keeping his team at least involved in the scoreline, but it looks like his teammates are beginning to fall around him. Summons looking to get there for the trade. Explosive makes the rotation over. Great plays by the in-game leader of this UYU team. And unfortunately, Adverse chunks his teammate. He does make up for it with a quick couple of kills. Isn't able to get that full chunk.
Oh, nice.
He's playing patient. I like what I'm seeing right now out of Adverse, trying to make up for that unfortunate team kill. It takes looking like 3 different members trying to get rid of this one player on Estral, taking up the resources of this UYU team almost entirely.
Fantastic spacing from Adverse, and even better Lancer fire up top from Crack. Crack was the reason why UYU couldn't push Adverse, and he was able to stay alive as long as he did, because if that Lancer fire's not happening, that team support's not coming in, UYU pushes Adverse, he gets dropped, but even so, though, Estral continues to slay out. 2 more players will drop from UYU. Estral now over the 200 mark, but you notice they still don't win. Crack needs to get this break. There's nothing stopping him. He's going to get the break onto Bravo. Now it's a matter of UYU. Do they respawn back in, or do they concede the round?
So they're going to concede, and Taylor, that was just beautiful play by Adverse, commanding the attention of UYU for such a long period of time in that fight, and getting kills where he can, getting some spacing, and you saw 3 different members were shooting him at once a number of different times, and that really was the biggest reason why they were able to win that round. When those 3 members are focusing on Adverse, his teammates are able to just kind of come in there and start to angle him out, and you saw 2 different players died by being on their last down. I'm so impressed with the way Adverse played that. He held his composure. I mean, look at see 11 eliminations to his name now. Very, very impressive stuff.
Yeah, he played that incredibly well. That round was won because of himself, and so we could easily have been seeing a 2-0 here in favor of Estral, especially if that first round didn't stop at 248. UYU didn't get the trip cap at the end. But regardless, though, we got a close game here, a lot closer at least off the start than I thought it would be. I really thought UYU was going to come in, guns blazing, take this easily, and then put us into Vascar. But Estral, they're looking like a much stronger team than we have seen in the past. And I'm curious to see how this breakout goes.
Yeah, I mean, Estral could very well be up 2-0. If they close out that final round, 100%. They had the lead on. If they just don't let them get that final break, this could be a 2-0. So far, very well played map by Estral, but takes a lot more than a couple rounds to beat this UYU team. Not only on Exhibit, but on any map, of course. These being one of the best teams we ever have. You just saw them over the weekend beat kind of the #1 contender in Reciprocity in Pro League. So a scary sight, of course, as we head into a live event. You don't want these guys feeling confident, because when they're playing confident, when they're having fun, there's just never been a scarier team to see.
And let's not forget, too, Estral just beat Pittsburgh Knights, too, right? Another dominant team over in the last team.
Who are playing the other to boot camp.
2-0. 2-0. So they played incredibly well. Estral looking definitely like the strongest team over in the LATAM scene. Adverse with a good opportunity on the flank, and he's going to... No! He finally gets the kill. I was about to say the hardest shot to take is the one on the flank when the opponent doesn't see you. You always highlight that in Gears, but Adverse makes up for it with the 1-2. Mike Tyson, baby. Drops him down. 3 is going to be down for UYU. You got Mental, Solars, and Summons now left up. As Mental drops off, Solar and Summons now up. Estral coming out strong, and that's at least going to lock down Bravo for them, and they're going to be able to close that deficit they have and take the point lead.
Yeah, and taking a look over at the respawn economy for each team, you're going to see Cardi and Crack both sitting on 1, Explosive and Summon both sitting on 1. So to me, Explosive is a player you don't want to lose. I mean, if you, obviously the in-game leader, just to me the most important piece of this team. He's so active on the map, makes a lot of calls, and again, he just affects so many different fights at once. So UYU wants to make sure they keep him alive at all costs. So far, so good. You're going to see Praise and Summons teaming up to take out Reflame, and Praise using that new poke damage, that fresh new shotgun damage to go ahead and get that down onto Adverse.
Okay.
So a much better job from UYU. Again, the scoreline still very close. UYU with this 2 captures very easily take back control of the objective time lead. This will be a huge kill if Estral does get Explosive, Taylor, and they do. So now if he chooses to spawn back in, that will put him on his very last life. Again, that's just so impactful when it comes to this UYU team because of how impactful Explosive is on the map.
But look at Fiercely, too. Fiercely rotated all the way over to Charlie. he got the neutralization, of course, quickly regained, but look at how pushed up Estral is. Estral is all over Charlie. They're just negating Bravo entirely, and if they stay out here, force one player back for B, they could have the trip cap. UYU's got to have a stronghold in this positioning, but locking down Fiercely, dropping him, that's going to be a huge catalyst to maybe stopping this push, but they rotate back to B and they get it.
And honestly, Taylor, it took a long time for Estral to get B, so they're now finally hopping back on Bravo, but by the time they've done that, UYU's already sort of back on the front line, and they're ready to kind of fight now for this neutral hill. Estral, to me, kind of waited a little bit too long, I would say, to get B, because now you have a situation where UYU can push forward, where they can take back control now of this neutral hill, and seeing the kill feed, the team fire, so far so good, and this could be one of those scary situations, Taylor, when you give them an opportunity at the very end to come through. They always do such a good job. They've kept Explosive alive, they've kept Summons alive, they've kept the two players up who have those final respawns, and those scary hours, those scary moments. Estral, I believe, can still win this if they do hold down just their hill. Can anyone from UYU get there in time? Mental on the 1 yard line. If they get this chunk, they will take him out.
Oh,
and by the skin of their teeth, Taylor, they managed to get out. That was almost a tragedy of a round, but Estral, they do manage to hold on, and now as we head into the final round of the half, you're going to see two different members on each team sitting at one respawn, so those early kills are going to be so important.
You can't deny it. This has been a fun one to watch, much more than a Training Ground. Training Grounds ended 5-0. That was quick, but this match here between these two on exhibit has been phenomenal, and I can't stress it enough. Estral needs to win this map. They absolutely do. They need to close this out 2-0. They cannot force a Game 3 on Vascar because we know how strong UYU is when it comes to Vascar. So Estral has a great opportunity here, specifically onto the back of winning Training Grounds 5-0. So this is their opportunity to go into the second half and have a nice size lead of 3-1. Will set them up nicely in second half to take over the win. This breakout's going to be important, as we're going to see, of course, just a standard breakout. Everybody going for their instance, going for their smokes. And they're going to take their time. I think a lot of these players know they're sitting at 1 out of 4 lives. They can't be as aggressive as they were in previous rounds.
Yeah, I mean, not only do you have the respawn economy taken into consideration, but now with those incense in play, no team wants to kind of move out in the open and then get hit in the face by a fireball. So expect to kind of see these two teams maybe try to use that incense as a bit of a catalyst. You're going to see Explosive holding the incense over on the side of UYU, Reflame holding it on the side of Estral. So let's see what these players can do. Let's see if they can kind of get that first blood for their team to move forward. And of course, we are in the last round of the half, so the respawns are at their quickest as Cardi has a little bit of fun up top, saying, hey man, you want to push this? You want to have some fun? Because they're still minting down low. Might as well get the party started up top.
I thought it was a cheat code. Maybe you do the
Look, he's dropping his Lancer in his face too. He's getting all kinds of disrespect.
All right, so Cardi, you're poking a beast that you don't want to poke.
If you lose that fight now, like you don't do all that to get embarrassed in a 1v1.
I don't know. Hey, Solar's, he knows what's up. Cardia, he's waiting for him. And it's one thing to sit back there and do the finger guns and everything. It's another thing to win that fight. It's another thing to even go for the attempt. He just keeps with him. Prodding the bear.
Oh, with Solars.
Here we go.
Got a little early damage in. He's pushing forward still. At the very least, now he has some positioning over on the Estral Esports side. So Cardia got a little bit careless, I would say, and now gave his teammate a little bit of extra positioning.
If he wins this, it's all worth it, though.
Look at Solar's getting aggressive now, too. He's bored.
Oh, he's
tired of it.
He's angry. He's like,
he's tired. Oh, no, Cardia's still doing it, buddy.
Cardi, you
better win this fight at this point. You cannot do all that to get chunked. If he gets back 8 into the respawn screen after doing all that, that is not okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, you're doing all that stuff, but you're not. Oh! Good ring around the Rosie, but does take some nice damage. Forced to back off. Solars go off close. Cardia goes for the 1-2, and Solars wins it. Cardia, buddy, that cannot happen.
You cannot do all that. He was doing the most. You cannot do all of that just to lose the 1v1. Luckily, his teammates are doing a pretty good job down below. Every single player on the other end do fall, but because Solars won that fight, he was able to secure the home hill of Estral Esports.
Round 2.
And let's see if Cardia uses the same little tactic this time. I don't imagine he's going to. Finally gets his revenge, but at the very least, Taylor, that was an opportunity for Estral. Had he not died there, they got the full wipe downstairs. Solar's 1v1 literally kept him in this round, and now they're able to still maintain a lead.
Yeah, and you know, that's something to think about. You know, it's all fun and games until you lose the round because of your choices, and now it's going to be down to a 4v4 as Cardia
off the map.
So, yes, Summons is as well. So, a permanent 4v4 between these two. With Adverse dropping, that brings it down to a 4v3. When you're at a 4v4 and you lose 1 or 2 players, that really opens the door for a quick comeback.
This isn't good. Taylor Explosive now off the map, Summons off the map, Mental on his very last life. You're going to see Estral very quickly get on all the objectives, kind of spread themselves out. It's good from an objective standpoint. A big opportunity for them to finish this off as now 3 different members of UYU are permanently taken out. There's the emoting you're allowed to do. You're allowed to do the emote when you're about to win. Estral Esports make up for their teammates' mistakes, and that's now a 3-1. What a way to close out the first half. Again, UYU, the very dominant team on exhibit. Estral Esports saying, hey, we'll play that map. We'll play your map pick.
Hey, I like this. Finger guns like that, Cardi, I want to see that in Mexico, live on stage at the tournament. I want to see.
He's not doing it at the event. No,
listen,
he's
no.
He's not.
Listen.
No,
I'm gonna dream.
I'd respect it if he did, honestly.
I want to dream. But could you imagine the Mexican crowd with Cardi and
they would erupt.
Finger guns to Solars,
if they were
and then he wins the 1v1.
Because that's taunting at the end of the day, right? If he's taunting him on main stage like that, and he's got the whole crowd behind him, oh man. They would love that.
I would love it too, man.
You see how much the LATAM scene, shows some love on the map? You know what I mean? Expect to see a lot of that in Mexico City, I'll tell you that much.
Well, we're all now back up to 4 out of 4 lives, and we have Estral leading 3-1. And this is that second half. Time to put up or shut up. UYU, they lose 2 more rounds. They are out in round number 1 as Estral continues to space UYU back. A lot of stuns happening. Reflame thought he had an opportunity, but forced to back up. And meanwhile, though, there's going to be a battle. Crack on the other side. Tries to push UYU up close. It doesn't work out. Adverse, though, once again, will push in, and he capitalizes on that fight against Summons. But now Adverse has to go huge here. Unfortunately, all down to all 4. Fiercely, last alive as UYU comes out. First round of the second half. Absolutely slaying out.
A very strong initial, but Fiercely wins the fight up top. He's going to have to deal with Summons off of spawn. But another one of those situations where you win that fight up top, when you win that 1v1, you're able to a lot of times walk right over to the enemy's home hill, especially on those long spawns. Again, Fiercely didn't make his way quite over there, but at the very least took up some of their attention. Again, unfortunately, does finally fall, and a lot of trades back and forth. Again, run these long spawn rounds. Neither team getting that full wipe just yet. At the very least, though, UYU has built a very, very good lead to start off this first round of the second half.
Good win for Reflame, but he does get dropped. Team pickup. Oh, good instant. Will it connect? An explosive will, in fact, miss that. So that's a big utility out of the way, and that was a big opportunity. If he places that right, we could have saw 2 players drop off from Estral, and that would have absolutely opened the doorway up for him to pass lasers and then drop down onto, of course, the home hill. UYU, though, with a nice size lead at this point. Estral, they need to capture this E point. They're looking to do just that. And Estral in this positioning, they've got a couple of kills. It seems as if they might not stop here. I think they're going to be all up in the spawn of UYU pretty shortly.
Yeah, currently a 4v3 on the map favoring Estral. One of the members of UYU is going to be up top, and you're going to see Explosive kind of dancing his way around with Crazed, trying at the very least just to stay alive. And you never want to lose those lives in succession, especially on these long spawn rounds. And Craze and Cardia both miss a couple of shots. Craze doesn't miss the second. Cardia is there for the trade. UYU, though, still has a pretty good size lead, right? Almost up about 60 points. That E-Hill still not capped just yet, so still plenty of work to do if you are Estral. And I think at the very least, even if they lose this round, I mean, I think they're okay if they can at least make UYU use a lot of lives, right? Put a lot of resources into finishing this, because you see at the top of your screen, Taylor, the Swarm are still in position to win, even holding that 1 hill down.
But like you said, it's about setting yourself up for the future, right? And I think with a couple of kills, that could be big. But you see the pressure being applied forward. Estral, they're going for this, Ryan. They want to win this right here, right now. They want to be up 4-1. As Adverse, despite an instant, doesn't even matter. He pushes up. He will get dropped to all 4s. And this is a big push, right, for Estral. But it seems as if it's been thwarted. Reflame now doing what he can do to try and stay alive. He will finish off 1. That's going to be Solar's dropping. But with the meat shield pickup, he will fall himself. Crack will also, actually, holds his own over in the corner. But eventually the chip damage is going to be a little bit too much. And Estral will, in fact, lose this round, and we are going to see UYU take another round 3-2.
That got close at the end. You've seen the situations too. Those are the kind of situations I talk about where this UYU team always seemed to come out on top. But you saw how quickly they identified the win condition, right? They quickly identified that Estral had one hill in order to kind of finish that round off, and they quickly threw all their resources right back onto their home and did a great job of defending it. Estral, they came with the utility, they came with the push, but UYU was there, UYU was ready. And they managed, again, win another round and keep this very, very close. There is still plenty of exhibit left to be played.
And just to update you guys, La Familia made a huge comeback on Training Grounds against FNI. They take Training Grounds and they push into Asylum.
Very nice.
Absolutely, because they were down 3-0 when we left.
I say when we left,
they were getting wiped.
Fire and Ice was pretty much in control.
And the drop shot was already
so
placed.
Like, all right, it's probably a good time to switch over to the other match. This is looking like it's a little one-sided, but credit to La Familia making the comeback and now pushing that to a game number 3. Again, 2 teams that I'm very excited to watch at Mexico City. So good to see them kind of go into the wire, at least in round number 1 of Emergence.
Absolutely, they're going to a game 3, and we're going to continue to watch this one, which is currently on game 2. We could have 2 back-to-back game 3s as Cardia refuses to stop this man and the finger guns.
I feel like if you do that, I'm going to keep saying it, if you do that, you have to come out with the fire. You have to be bullying people on the map. You cannot do that to go lose 1v1s. I'm just going to say it.
Well, okay, he's 1-1 against in total fights against Solars. We still need a tiebreaker round between those 2.
He has 18 limbs, 11 deaths, so, you know, not the worst performance, but also it's not leading the way on the map either.
It's not 40 limbs, and, you know.
Right, so I feel like if you're hitting 40 bombs, if you're dropping the big ones on the opponent.
Where's Solar's at?
Crack,
Solar's
Reflame, Adverse.
15-8.
He's got the 4th most elims in the team, and he's doing the finger guns.
But then again, Solar's is 15-8. That was his arch nemesis up top. Let's see if this is okay. Now this is the opportunity.
Here we go, redemption season.
All right, he goes and backs off. That was short-lived. I was expecting to see a major push. Okay, snub fire though. We'll get the damage, but that's going to force him way too back, and Cardio will win the positioning on this little edge. Nobody in control of E. Estral does have at least a point lead, a minor point lead. And that's going to open the door for UYU to push forward. Adverse, though, holding them back. Nice instant comes through. Doesn't connect, but it does shut down the angle over towards E. The Boltok firing some damage away, but it's not going to be able to connect as UYU continues to push forward, but they're not able to make anything happen. Estral holding their own, and on top of that, cherry on top, they capture E.
So finally, one of these teams going to get out with the neutral hill and begin to build that lead. I don't know if Cardia knows. Mental's there waiting for him. Luckily, he has a teammate on the flank. Crack almost didn't get that kill, almost got turned on. Manages to pick up that elimination, and very quickly, UYU hops right on the E hill, gets at least the break. Kind of stop the bleeding in the midst of the fight, so I like that kind of heads-up play.
Big battle for Praise. We'll get one drop at least.
He actually had the meat shield on the way down. That was a good job by Praise getting that trade. And very quickly, Taylor, Estral hops right back onto the neutral. They don't get the full cap just yet. Looks like UYU's beginning to kind of take control of this fight. Adverse has made some miracle plays towards the middle of this map. Let's see if he can continue to do it. I think he'd much rather at least try to stay alive.
Oh.
And what an angle coming
Big
through
angle
by UYU.
Yeah, explosives, finding the nerd angle, dropping Adverse, predicting perfectly where he was going to be. But he will get picked up, so the battle will ensue just a little bit later. Estral with just a 3-point lead, if you will. And it's getting pretty crazy to say the least now as we get down to the point where it's time to get the work. Ensign onto E, and that's going to force at least Estral back a little bit. But you notice they're still getting that cap. The cap will, in fact, come through. So now Estral will have the win condition, and UYU, they need to find out another angle to take if they want to try and get this win. But one thing's to pay attention to. Look at Summons. He's going to be on his last life, so he can't get as aggressive as maybe he wants to. And you got to think, how much do you want to commit here? Estral now with a nice sized lead, and UYU, they're going to be forced to go for 2 breaks. They get the E break now. But will the one condition favor them? I don't think it will.
I don't think it will. You're going to see COG team.
It will not.
Oh, yeah,
oh,
it actually will.
Wow,
Win
that's
condition
huge.
will favor them, and now you're going to see UYU push forward. At least try to bully this break. Summons does get down, and he actually, Praise gets mantled over the top. Estral Esports, can they get the break in time? The break does come through in the nick of time. Estral, oh my goodness, they take the swing round.
He headbutted the wall.
Praise
Yo.
got mantled over that cover. We're going to have a replay.
He headbutts
Look
the
at
wall.
the way that animation looks. Literally got stepped on. It was like Mario over the Goomba.
Bro, he just straight up just throws his head against the wall.
They won that by 1 second.
Yo, 4-2 Estral. Like you said, 1 second.
And that's, Taylor, that's a pretty big swing round. I mean, if UYU ties that back up at 3-3, that kind of changes the entire outlook of this map. And now we see Estral in control 4-2.
That was wild.
That's a hell of a position to be in, especially on a map like Exhibit against a team like UYU. Let's see if they can finish it off. Of course, we've seen UYU make incredible comebacks over the years. Can Estral close this out? That would be a 2-0, and that would be another time where this team sends UYU out in the first round if they're able to pull this off.
Something to think about. We saw good utility usage on UYU's side with the Ensigns. Those have now been locked, so they're not going to have the opportunity to break those out. And that might benefit Estral because they were losing a couple players in that regard because of that. I really want you guys at home to pay attention to the respawn economy. You look at Estral, they're sitting pretty. You look at UYU, you got a couple players who are pretty low, right? I'm looking at Summons, and that's all it takes. One weak link in the chain, right? He drops. It's constant 5v4, and already we're starting off with a couple players on UYU getting dropped. Now, of course, that's going to be Solars and Explosives sitting at 4 out of 4, but regardless, that's not how you want to start off your round. Estral looking strong. They've got Delta. They've got Echo. And now Mental, he's getting chip damage, and he's going to be finished off. Even though Crack knocks Cardia down, he's going to get the pickup. And it is, in fact, right now going to be Estral leading the way.
Yeah, definitely a little concerning to see a player already sitting on one respawn. Again, UYU has to pretty much throw all the respawns they can at every single round from here on out because one more round in Estral's favor does win the entire series for him. And putting some aggression on, you're going to see Solars and Praised in this lane trying their best to take down Crack and Cardia. Cardia managed to stay alive. Crack not going to be met with the same fate. Let's see what Cardia can do. He said he needed to pull up big after using those finger emojis. So far, so good. He got a big two-piece. Unfortunately, isn't able to take down Solar. So numbers advantage swaying right back into UYU's favor. Of course, Estral Esports did a pretty good job of building a lead. Still plenty of round to go. And now look at the control UYU has. Look at the team fire coming through. They have a great setup. And they're making Estral pay, inching ever so close to that COG home hill.
Adverse, your main Slayer, choosing not to spawn in, at least as of yet. And might be a wise choice. Go ahead and concede the round as... it seems that we're going to see if Reflame's going to spawn back in, and he's not. So I definitely think, yeah, they're going to go ahead and give it up, Ryan. Oh, he does spawn back in. Surprisingly so. He's going to be on his last life, too. So is Summons.
And I think they're spawning back in because of the fact that they did just take out Summons. So now Summons is going to be forced to come back in on his last life. So if they can manage to kind of continue to play these trades back and forth, that could be their opportunity. But what they cannot do is get wiped, and UYU on their way for that wipe. Adverse, like I said, sitting now on his last life as well. So a lot of risk associated on both ends. Those lasers looking to take yet another life.
Boltok spacing back UYU. Crack now.
And I believe that's two Boltoks. Yeah, Crack and Adverse, both of the Boltok in their hands.
He's just missing every shot, unfortunately, but hey, at least he's spacing them back.
And now these are the situations. If you're Estral, you really want to pull this out. They do hop on E. It's not going to be enough, but the win condition will still favor UYU. UYU's at full strength. They have a lot of members.
It's a big push, though, up top.
To control, yeah.
Some major push, and
that breaks everything.
Beardsley will take Mental down.
No one's hopping on the hill.
Dropped as
they
well.
Didn't get it. They use a lot of resources there, Taylor, and they didn't get it. We question whether or not Adverse should go back in. Now you got to wonder. Only a couple rounds left. Estral had a bit of a lead, I would say, in the respawn economy. Now, Taylor, look at this.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty much even. And you know what? UYU has 2 players on 4.
Yeah, this might be the turning point. Honestly, I think giving that round up early probably would have been a good idea. Continue to stack up your respawns, concede that round, and come into the next one as stronger than ever. I get the idea, though. I mean, I'm not going to lie, that push was looking strong. If they had a couple more seconds, they might have been able to get that break.
Yeah, I mean, you take out the player that's got kind of the crippled respawn economy. So then you think, okay, like let's use that as our advantage to go finish this round off. But what you got to do is you got to get in there and finish that round off, right? So if you just continue to kind of trade back and forth, UYU had already kind of built a lead by then. That's why Adverse in the first place was kind of determining whether or not he wanted to spawn back in because of the fact that the UYU's lead was already fairly substantial towards the end of the round.
And Adverse has played incredibly well. He's been the main Slayer, if you will, for this Estral team, and he's already down to 1 out of 4. If UYU single him out, take Adverse down, get him out of the game early on, Estral, they're not going to have a leg to stand on, but with Summons dying this early on, that opens up a big opportunity for Estral to capitalize.
Reflame's going to get that break over on the D hill. They haven't got the full kill just yet. Explosive does go down, and he's actually getting the cap, Taylor. While being down, one of the members of UYU makes a very heads-up play, crawls back in for the touch. Pretty good start, but look at the other end. Adverse falls as well. Both players that were on 1 respawn do fall. So if you're Estral there, I don't know. I probably would have. I mean, it's obviously hard to make that call in real time. We got to wonder if you get that first kill onto the player with 0 respawns, you maybe kind of let them spawn back up and kind of play for trades. Now you got to wonder, it's a situation now where UYU can kind of start to move forward. They have the E-Hill, of course, still early in the round. To me, it comes down to, man, who dies first, Adver or Summons?
Yeah.
That, to me, is the round.
Yeah, that's the storyline. I got to say, when Summons dropped off, like, within the first couple of seconds of at least of this round, I would have been okay with Estral backing off, at least capping E, backing off, and then trying to single him out, keeping Adverse alive at 1 out of 4. That push was bold, but I don't think it was the most necessary thing to do, as we use an instant on a drop player, which is Fiercely. That gets the kill, but maybe that utility would have been useful elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they used that drop shot, or sorry, the drop shot, the instant to finish that off. I don't think there's another player in position. Either way, though, I mean, Fiercely going down in the first place there is a little ill-advised, I would say, and the bull talk work from Estral is there. Explosive, though, equaling the odds, getting that instant kill onto Cardia. So UYU still do hold the 2-cap Taylor, and this goes to a 4-4, man. I mean, you gotta favor the vets, right? You gotta favor the 19, 20-time champs.
Yeah, this is what we talked about. Estral, they need to win this, and you see UYU coming through strong, kill feed lighting up red, and that's going to be at least 2 players down. It's going to be Crack and Reflame. Adverse still up, though, right? We talked about that storyline between Adverse and Summons. Who's going to drop first? Cardi doing a great job, and an opportunity to drop Solars is there. He does get the drop, but no one's there to get the finish. And now you've got Reflame on his last life, Adverse on his last life, and then Summons on the other side. Oh, no, that cannot happen!
So we just talked about how to keep that last life valued.
That is not value,
the
bro.
The laser is now uppercutted 2 different members in this match.
In this, that's the first.
And if you're, I mean, I was gonna say, if you're, I believe it was Cardia, you do not want to spawn back in. I mean, that round is, you gotta imagine, all but over. Obviously, Estral does have the win condition. You have to make a pretty big hold right now, I would say. Reflame does get 1. And UYU, they just need to get a hold of this B hill. They need to get that break. Praise is dancing around E. He does get the kill. I don't know if this 2-cap will do it. Can anyone get the break over on the UYU home hill?
Oh, someone from UYU.
Summons makes his way over, and like I said, Taylor, these are those scary times. We now find ourselves back at 4-4, and again, this UYU team, ice in their veins. I feel like the air just kind of got taken out of this room on this exhibit map.
So, break this down for me. What would have happened if Adverse won that 1v1 against the laser? Would he have come up on top? Would he have been able to take over that top position?
He won it against the laser? I mean, that'd be impressive. It'd be historic if you win the fight against the laser. Now, had he stayed alive, that could have been a little bit of a different case.
Hey, he
it
gave a good fight.
You saw how Estral was in position there to win on 2, right? You saw they were still down in points, but they had the win condition to win on 2. If you had that extra player back there, I mean, that could have meant quite a bit. You saw Praise was able to dance around on the E, able to kind of get the break that ended up sealing it for him. Do you have someone on the back line there? I mean, maybe he doesn't get that down. Maybe if he was up top, if you're the player up top, maybe you go over to the UYU home, they'll get a break there. I mean, the options are kind of endless at this point. Now we find ourselves sitting on 4-4, and this first kill is going to be so important. Cardia on 1, Adverse on 1, Reflame on 1. Over the UYU side, I'm seeing 4s all around with just 1 member sitting on 1 respawn. So UYU have taken back control of the respawn economy.
It's going to have to be a couple of series of kills, and it's going to have to be Summons getting dropped and Praise also getting dropped to bring them down lower and lower. If Summons get dropped, obviously he's going to be on his last life. Praise needs to get killed a couple of times. That's going to be really your evening points, but Estral's going to have to play this nearly perfectly. We're going to have to see plays from Adverse, much like we saw in round number 2, where he was spacing absolutely perfectly on that neutral hill back in the day, or at least on the first half when it was Bravo, now of course Echo. But we're going to have to see big plays like that consistently throughout this round. And you see now the tension, right? You could cut it with a knife. Estral and UYU know at this point in time they can't give up any of their lives. Maybe UYU a little bit more, obviously, but Estral's going to go for the first attempt. And believe it or not, it's going to be Adverse throwing his hat in the ring. That's risky, and he's going to get dropped. I don't agree with that push.
Praise goes down. The explosive is there for the revive. Second down, so at the very least, Praise will be on his sort of last down, as we call it. But explosive is there for his teammate. I love that rotation. I love that movement. Obviously, neither team getting control of the neutral hill just yet. That's a good start. They'll now put Crack on 1 respawn. And you can just feel the control that we're seeing right now from this UYU team on this last round. They're getting the early kills. They're getting the hill cap. I'm getting the feeling, Taylor, we're on our way to a third map. That's just the feeling I'm getting right now. And
be
Fiercely
wrong,
misses
yeah.
the up A, and that was the player, the one shining moment you could have had to take out the one player on one respawn. Misses the up A, and I mean, I don't know how many more good omens, bad omens I need to see.
Yeah. Well, regardless, though, light at the end of the tunnel. If we're saying, right, Adverse and Reflame, they're still up, right? They still have their lives. It's still a 5v5. Respawn economy, though, clearly not in the hands of Estral. Reflame has a ton of pressure being applied to him. Praise is going for the kill. Hits a nice shot, but he's forced to back off, as we are going to see UYU really starting to wolfpack forward. So is Estral, but you can only wolfpack so much. You can only add some added protection. With 3 players on your last life, you know you're in trouble.
And a 4th player now in their last life to the hands of who else? The Laser. And now is Explosive, gets the down. Solars is there for the pickup. That takes Crack right out. And Taylor, like I said, we are very well on our way to a final game. UYU has the 2-cap. They have the advantage. They have pretty much everything they need. All they have to do is kind of wait for that fight to come to them, get some trades back and forth, and as the clock looking to strike midnight, UYU will make the comeback. Estral Esports, they had the match in their grasp. They won the first map with such dominance. They extended out map 2 to that 4-2. In the end, though, the final bosses of this exhibit map chain the 3 rounds in a row they need, and that's going to send us to a 3rd and final map on Vaskar, and I just felt a large momentum shift.
But still a fun one to watch. Lasers galore up top. We saw the headbutt
3
into the
laser
wall
kills.
from UYU.
3 laser kills.
That was a fun one to say the least, and that mantle kill I think takes the cake. I want to see that replay in the future once again, but that's a big loss